You know, living with an injury or disability, when you have the money you need to take care of yourself, can sometimes be hard enough. But when money's tight, it can really be hard. Well, that's why we have Social Security, disability insurance, and workman's compensation. But what if you've been denied those services? Well, that's why we brought in Attorney Major Varnado from Gulfport. How are you, sir? Good to have you on the show.
Good morning, thank you.
If you would first give us a little bit of background about yourself.
I've been an attorney for a very long time, over 40 years. I've done various kinds of law practice. In the last 6 or 8 years, I've narrowed it down to Social Security disability. That's primarily what I do now, and I do quite a bit of it.
Tell us about Social Security disability insurance and how it works.
There are different types of Social Security disability. One is Social Security disability insurance. You have to have enough work history to be insured for that. Another one, supplemental security income, called SSI. You don't have to have any work history for that to apply for it. However, you do have to be disabled under their rules to qualify for either one. It's a very strict, very complicated process to go through to get it.
There's also disability claims for children.
There's a disability claim for children, SSI. That comes under SSI. Those are very difficult claims, but yes, they're available.
Okay. Let's talk about SSD, Social Security disability eligibility. What are some of the eligibility requirements for that?
You have to be insured for disability. That's based upon your work record. It's like paying car insurance. You pay your premium for 6 months. At the end of 6 months, if you don't pay your premium again, the insurance expires. For disability, you're usually insured about 5 years after you stop working on a regular basis, and your insurance status expires at that time. So you can file, and they'll determine based on your work record whether you're insured for disability or not.
Now, what's the eligibility for SSIs?
You don't have to have any work record at all to apply for SSI. That's like a poverty program. You have to be poor, have very few assets, but you have to be disabled under their rules. And the test for disability is the same for both.
Are there pretty strict, you mentioned by their rules, are there pretty strict guidelines as to what falls under their rules, so to speak?
They're very strict. You have to be unable to do any kind of work at all, even unskilled, sedentary, light duty work for a continuous period of 12 months or more. And that's, you think somebody, they work at skilled work, say a welder, they made high wages. Well, guess what? You have to be unable to work minimum wage, sedentary work to be disabled under Social Security rules. It's a very strict definition of disability.
Now, you see oftentimes news stories about people who have filed for disability insurance, they're getting it and all this, and then you see them out running marathons and things like that, and that could be a pretty stiff penalty or a fine if you get caught. There
is some fraud in the system, but quite frankly, it's very difficult to qualify for disability in today's climate. Very, very difficult test to meet it. And I think some people who are truly disabled are denied, and I've seen
when a lot of these cases
when they really need it. And it's very frustrating to work in this area when that happens.
What is the 5-step evaluation of claims? There's 5 steps to getting evaluated?
Yes, they look at whether you have a severe impairment, and that's a long, complicated definition of that. And they look at whether you're working, and then they look at whether you're working, whether you have a severe impairment, whether the impairment meets the listing impairment of impairments. There are certain impairments that have listings. They look at whether you can return to the kind of work you did before. Step 5, can you do any other kind of work? As I mentioned a while ago, it's not just what you did before, but it's anything else. And they can find you disabled or not disabled at either one of those steps.
Do they look at age?
They look at age. The rules become a little bit more relaxed as you get older. When you're younger, you're assumed to be able to do more things, and when you get older, 50, if you're under 50, you're a younger person under their rules. When you get over 50, it gets a little bit easier, but not too much. When you get over 50,
because you're getting close to retirement age.
At 55, the rules become a little more relaxed. But if you're highly educated, you have a highly skilled work history, frankly, it doesn't make that much difference what your age is. They deny people in their 60s all the time.
Tell us what your typical client is like.
When they come in, most of them have severe medical problems. A lot of them are in great pain. You can tell that just by looking at them. A lot of them come in with a cane or crutch, and they're not able to work. And they're in a state of devastation, basically, because they're about to lose everything or have lost everything. I've got a lot of homeless clients. They're looking for help, and they've applied. And almost all of them come in with a denial letter in their hand. They've applied and they've been denied. So what we do is we process their appeals on up to the judge level. It takes a year, year and a half to reach that point.
Wow. So, I mean, there's quite a few steps to the application process.
They apply. We don't apply for them. They come in usually once they've been denied, and then we process the 2 appeals required to get up to the judge level at that point.
Is it harder today to qualify than it was in the past?
It is. It is.
Is it because of so much fraud that's involved?
I think it's a political pressure more than anything else, quite frankly. People may not want to hear that, but I've been doing this a long time.
Right,
and
right.
I've seen the ebb and flow of it. And it's harder now. It's a lot harder. The approval rates are much lower than they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
And I'm sure you see that approval rate lower in younger people under the age of 50, as you said, than they are over the age of 50.
Of course, that's true. They assume you could do something if you're a younger person because you get more ability. But that's not always true. Younger people can have rheumatoid arthritis. I've had many clients in their 30s with rheumatoid arthritis, congestive heart failure. Age is not a respecter of medical conditions.
Real quick, we got about a minute left. You also handle personal injury claims?
I do some of that, but mainly I focus on disability claims. That's my expertise, and I have a good staff to do that kind of work.
Okay, and you offer a free consultation, initial
We do.
free
I
consultation?
give free consultations quite a bit. I let the people know what's expected, what they're going to have to do. I'm frank with them, you know, so they understand what they're looking at when they leave my
Well, you've been doing
office.
this for a long time, so they trust you.
A long time, right.
All right.
And
Major Varnado, thank you so much for coming out today and informing us if you've tried to make a claim for disabilities, not working out, you've been denied. This is a gentleman that you want to call. Numbers on your screen. They're located in Gulfport, and or you can get some more information on their website as well. But give them a call and set up an appointment and go visit with Major Varnado and his wonderful staff at Varnado Law Firm over in Gulfport.